Oh, nice. Okay, so
Oh, I screwed it up. I just fucking. Yeah.
what's going on?
Wow. That intro gassed me up. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, dude. It's
little
got a
brick.
feel to it.
A little bricked up.
Yeah. What's cooking?
Not much. Thanks, Dom, for coming on. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys too.
Dom's only got 30 minutes for us in his busy schedule over there
We'll take it.
at TNR Oil Company. So we gotta make every second count with this guy. He's hard to pin down.
How much
I
oil you
apologize.
put-
It's the last week of summer Friday,
True.
and my office closes around noon. So, I'd just like to make sure before we close the week out, everyone's got all their stuff and all the questions that have been asked of me.
What's on the docket for you today? What do you got to do?
Well, we're growing a lot, and one of the pain points of like where we're at.
Actually, hold on. Before you do anything, tell the audience what it is that you do exactly.
Oh, I sell fuel to commercial fleets, and basically all fluids to commercial fleets is the simplest way to put it. So diesel fuel, gasoline, diesel exhaust fluid, lubricants.
Yeah.
And we're an asset-based company, and a lot of people broker to us, and then we have a direct book of business. We have a sales force, and we have a warehouse.
And you're in, where are you?
I'm in Kearney, New Jersey, but we're in EWR, Newark. That's our market.
Okay.
I'm going out east. I'm going out east actually today or later tonight. I'm going to New York.
Nice.
So I've never been,
Dom won't touch New York with a 10-foot pole.
No,
I can see it, but I won't touch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
So
is
you're
that?
flying
Jersey
today?
guy, bro.
Why is
Krystian,
that?
you're flying today?
Yeah, flying tonight at flying out of O'Hare at like 8 or something. At 8.
I mean, today's got to be like one of the largest flight volume days in human history.
Probably. Yeah. So thankfully I got that TSA pre-check. And probably well, I don't know. Based on Reed's comments recently, the TSA pre-check line seems to be longer than the regular.
Yeah, bro. They got to make another tier of pre-check.
You should have to get.
Or you just go normal.
They should make you get a TWIC card to get the highest level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, according to some of my driver friends, getting a TWIC card is impossible, but I feel like that can't be true.
It is true. When
I
screen people, all my drivers have to have it. When I screen people, if you don't already have one, I'll tell you to get it and call me back because it takes a month to get it.
Does it really?
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
Like $120.
Why do you guys need one? Do you fuel people at the port? Or
no,
do you pick up
our fuel's loaded in the port. And then we have a few clients that we have to go into the port for. But
where do you pick up your fuel? Is it like at the terminal?
Yeah. I mean, if you're landing in Newark and you actually fly over it, it's called Bayway Terminal, is where a lot of it comes in, and then it gets either barged or piped to different parts of Newark. But yeah, mostly Newark. Newark's actually not the cheapest anymore to load fuel because it's like turned into like Amazon land and FedEx land. They're all putting warehouses in Newark. Whereas like Port Reading, New Jersey is where most of the fuel is now. But that's like 15 miles south of me. And in New Jersey, 15 miles is not worth like after a couple penny savings.
Like 6 hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an hour. So when you're sending 10 drivers a day, loading 2 or 3 times a day, so we try not to go there. So we do most of our stuff in Newark, even though it's not the cheapest.
What's but I mean, for you guys, like every mile is like needs to be optimized. Every like minute needs to be optimized because you're just trying to hit as much as your metric is like how much can you deliver per hour, I'm assuming, right? Or,
yeah, I'm really a glorified liquid LTL hauler. So very similar to, you know, dry LTL guys. I need to make all those hours count. I look at our business on a gallon per hour. So if somebody wants us to do a job that's an hour away, there needs to be a lot of density once we get there. So they'd have to be like a 50 truck client. So one of our core businesses is overnight fueling, where we go to you and we fuel each truck individually. And then we give them all like the CSV information of how much fuel each truck got. So if somebody wants us to go an hour away, there's got to be like 50 trucks in that yard for us to make it worth it. If they want us to go an hour away for 3 trucks, I can't possibly charge enough to justify the hour there, hour back where we're not pumping. So it's really it's like a gallon per hour business.
How much is a entire? So do you pull up with literally just an entire like tanker?
Yeah, so we pull up with a Class B tanker. It's what we call a straight job in our market. And yeah, we just show up, roll the hose out. We basically bring the truck stop to you.
That's pretty neat. So what's like what are the cost advantages of doing that?
So if you're a fleet owner and you have 30 trucks and you send, you know, if you're running hard, you basically have to send all 30 of those trucks to the fuel lane daily. So if you send 30 trucks to the yard daily to get fuel, or a truck stop to get fuel daily, they'll probably spend about a half an hour fueling, whether they're waiting in line, whether they're shooting the shit, whether they're buying cigarettes. Say they all lose a half an hour. Labor's $40 an hour if you include workers' comp. That'll cost you about $150,000 per year in time loss sending your trucks to the fuel lane if you're a 30 truck hauler. We'll come in and we'll come to you. We'll save you about $100,000. We'll bill you that 50 through a markup on our fueling services. So if you're a 30 truck hauler, we'll save you about $100,000 a year with our direct fueling service.
That workers' comp, like extra $10 though, is crazy. I always remember like when I was running two trucks, and I didn't understand like how it was that expensive. But I don't know. You got to pay it, I guess. So
it's a necessary evil.
30 minutes to wait.
Yeah, 30 minutes. I mean, I've seen guys lose way more time than that. I'm physically at a truck stop right now. The Tulo truck stop's behind me. It's a 9-lane over the road truck stop. People lose all types of time here.
Yeah. And I guess if you wanted to take advantage of like your 30-minute break that you have to take, you'd have to basically like time the entire load, you know, correctly, which is basically like not always, you know, exactly possible per se.
Yeah, it's also complicated, right? If you're a 30 truck fleet and you're sending your guys out and you want to send them all to the same place, that's not really realistic. Not everyone's going the same direction when they leave the yard. So you may end up with situations where guys are going to different truck stops. Who needs a different fleet card? Who needs a different credit card? The pricing is different at all these different stations they're going to. Which driver's not turning their tickets in? So we also offer, in a way, just like a centralized way where your entire fleet pays one amount for fuel. All of the reporting comes to you in a centralized way. So you don't really need to, like, for the office staff to reconcile all their fuel. It's much easier. Also, we provide consolidated IFTA reporting. So if you fuel with us exclusively, we can send you all your IFTA reporting, and then you can just submit that to the government. We take all that off.
What sort of fleets typically are best suited to take advantage of site fueling? Is it like local fleet? I mean, I think it's obvious that local fleets make sense. But like, what about OTR people? Like, is it just when the trucks are in like back home? Like, how does that work?
It's primarily local and regional. It works best when each truck parks back in their same yard every night, obviously. What usually will happen is these drivers will still have fleet cards if they need it. So if they are pulling something out of the port, most of our stuff is port work. If they are pulling something out of the port and they have to go to Chicago, then they'll have a fleet card with like a Pilot or Flying J discount. And then, you know, they can kind of run a hybrid system. And then when they're in the yard. So what we'll do for fleets like that, if they run kind of a hybrid regional sort of national, is we'll actually put them in for a Saturday or a Sunday fueling. So when all the trucks are there, we can hit the whole yard.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, that's nice. It's not inconveniencing to anybody, basically.
I mean, if you lose, I mean, how long would you say, and maybe you measure this at the truck stop, but how long would you say it takes the average driver who enters your truck stop to fuel and leave? Like, what's like the throughput?
If you show up here at 4 in the morning, it's probably going to take you a half an hour. It's busy. Everyone's trying to get out at the same time before traffic. This truck stop is 3.5 acres. The average truck stop in the United States is on 25 acres. So we're really small, super dense. We have 9 lanes here, and we're one of the only truck stops in the area that's not really just an oversized gas station where you can actually be in line and have a truck behind you safely. So you could easily lose a half an hour if you're here at prime time. If you show up,
for reference, just for everybody, this is where you are.
Yeah, I mean,
this is basically like the densest area, like in the country.
I call it South Kearney, but it really doesn't do it justice because no one knows what that is. We're basically in Newark.
So you are,
yeah, I mean,
you are basically, Manhattan's like on the other side.
Right there. Yeah. Manhattan's right here.
If I look to my right, I can see the Freedom Tower from where I'm sitting.
Oh, damn. All right. Then wait, so are you at the Tillo truck stop?
I'm at the truck stop right now. Yeah. Why don't you give us a little street view, bro?
There you go.
If you
dude, let's drop it in the fuel island right here.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where we're at. I'm on
all right, everyone. This is Dom's office right here. If you want to find him, he's right there.
The other side of the building I'm on. I'm on the total adjacent side.
All right. Let's see what I can do.
Under the sign on the building. The other one.
Over there?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, so how many lanes do you have here?
This is a 9-lane truck stop, and we have diesel exhaust fluid to each lane as well. It's a master satellite, so you can fill both pumps at the same, both tanks at the same time. And then if you look to the left, you'll see my fleet. Yeah, if you keep going the way you're going, you'll see my fleet's parked in this yard. Yeah, this yard right here.
Oh, nice.
So that's my wet hosing fleet and our def fleet. And then that's our warehouse where we operate.
Was that 3 trucks?
I've got 10 trucks right now.
Oh, 10 trucks. Okay.
But during the day, they're parked because the fuel trucks are parked during the day because we do mostly night work.
Got it. And your drivers basically just move on or night. Yeah, do night work or on the weekends, right? You said.
Yeah, night work shifts. That shift starts at 4 p.m.
I mean, is there no business to be had during the day, or you just not want it?
There is. I do have 2 trucks that run during the day. So TNR Oil Company's been around for 85 years, but the direct fueling division didn't start until 2017. And when I started
did you start it?
Yeah, when I started the direct fueling division, TNR was small, and we really didn't have like a lot of money to issue credit. We issue a lot of credit when you sell fuel to fleets. Like they get like net 10, net 15, net 30 days to pay. So my way around that was to get into night fueling. The volume is lower, the margin's higher. So on a per dollar basis, I look at my dollars in my bank account as like what I call liquidity capacity or my issuance capacity, how much credit I could issue. I was able to get way more bang for my buck on overnight fueling with the larger margins, lower outlay. Whereas daytime fuel work, you obviously can't fill trucks that are on the road. So you're filling above ground or below ground, like full truckload tanks. Those margins are so small. It's such a competitive market. There's just way more people willing to do that where I can't make any money and I have to give hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit. So it's just really not my game. I really focus on the LTL stuff.
So do you pull up the truck and you go and directly fuel like into the trucks?
He's got a video somewhere, don't you, Dom?
Yeah, I have a video.
Is it on Twitter or I can pull it up?
Definitely on Twitter, but it's probably pretty in the weeds. But it's definitely on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I got it. Oh, here we go. Look.
Wow, you got that already? So this is just filling a DEF tank.
Yeah, but this is the same sort of thing you're doing.
Yep, the trucks are built the same way. That's called a bikini back truck. You'll see the hose could be pulled out at either side. So if the tank was on the other side, you could pull it out. You wouldn't have to go around and make it all awkward. If you ask me, bikini back's the only way. Some people build like a chemical style, but when I see
And so what's the deal? What's the deal with so this whole DEF thing you're doing? Talk about these totes you got and like your measuring system and all that.
So this is a 330 gallon tote.
And explain to people what DEF is, because I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Diesel exhaust fluid was federally mandated in 2011. It's called a selective catalytic system, an SCR system. And the government wanted to reduce the amount of NOx that goes into the air. And what they found is, and they found this in Europe way before we did, if you mix DEF, which is 32.5% urea, which looks like salt, and 67.5% deionized water, you get your DEF. When you inject that into the catalytic converter, you will turn basically the harmful emissions into mostly non-harmful emissions. Right now, that mandate is 90%. The DEF system needs to create a 90% reduction in those emissions. In 2027, the federal government has mandated that become 96%. So your trucks in 2027 will use probably double the amount of DEF they use today.
No shit.
In order to fulfill that mandate. Yeah. Now, we may not see that really come into effect until 2035 because of the life cycle of these trucks. People are not buying new trucks as fast as they can. They keep them on the road. So we got into the DEF business in 2017, 2016. We saw an uptick in DEF using trucks in this market before other markets because Hurricane Sandy wiped out a lot of the fleets in the port after that mandate came into effect. So we're a little ahead of most markets as far as DEF usage and DEF consumption. Some ports will actually mandate that your trucks are post DEF era to get into the port for like a Clean Air Act or what have you. But yeah, that was a DEF tank. We build them in all different sizes. In that warehouse, we actually build it all. So I source the totes, I source the pumps, I source it all. We build it all on site, custom for the user. Sometimes we'll put two of them together and we'll manifold them if a customer needs more. If you're running 100 trucks, this is where we do it all. If you're running a lot of trucks, that one tote will only last you like 4 or 5 days. So sometimes we're issuing 3, 4 totes. Sometimes we're building a custom 800 gallon. Exactly.
Wait, hold on. What were we looking at there? Because that looked like some optical illusion.
We can get to that. That's a different subject. So
that's for your new lubricants business. Right?
Yeah. So TNR's mission is to sell every item a fleet needs and do it well. And next in that is to sell lubricants directly to fleets as well. So what you were looking at in that image is it's called a dike or a catch basin. And there's going to be next week, actually, the tanks are showing up. There's going to be 10 tanks that are 13 foot tall in the confines of that wall.
Wow.
So that's spill containment. If one of the tanks breaks or bursts, the oil won't leave those walls.
Got it. Do they have? I remember when I had to find an office, or not an office, but a kind of like a warehouse to store the truck inside of. The commercial zoning rules required that the floor or the foundation of the building had to have like a oil leak reservoir of some kind. I forgot what it's called, but are those also required in New York?
That's what you're looking at. That's effectively what that wall is.
Yeah, but if this was like for driving vehicles, so like if you were doing maintenance, that's some there's at least here in Chicago, I would imagine it's probably everywhere else, but like if there's a leak from the vehicle, that there's like I forgot what it was called, kind of like a
spill containment or just like yeah. So no, we don't have to have that. However, we own this property. If we didn't own this property, our landlord would probably make us have something like that.
Got it. So okay, tell us about this optical illusion.
So that optical illusion, just a different angle of the spill containment. It's lined with epoxy. It's 70 foot long, but this is lined with epoxy. So in theory, you could fill this basin with water. It just should hold.
Wow.
Have you tested that?
No, not yet. I got to let the wall settle for a month before we really test it.
No diving board plans?
No, no, no. It's like an Olympic swimming.
You got to turn it into a cold plunge.
Yeah,
yeah. Gigantic cold plunge.
Mix a little DEF in there or some lubricant. Get a test the product.
Damn, that's a good angle.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
So when like was this the plan all along to like start selling more stuff, or when did you start thinking about that?
No, it wasn't. When we got into the direct fueling business, which we entered late, the market started direct fueling in 2004, and we resisted it because we wanted people to come to our truck stops. So no, it wasn't the plan. In 2015, when we started the fueling business, it was really hard to grow it because we were converting people from their existing vendor to us. But DEF totally changed that in a way that I didn't anticipate. I thought DEF would be an accessory product. We would do minimal volume of it. We ended up selling DEF to about 900 fleets today. So now that we have that book of business, the plan now is to upsell them on as many products as we can. I don't want to grow geographically. I want to grow vertically within our client base. So lubricants was just the next step, and took us like 5 or 6 years to get our arms around DEF. I think I can get my arms around lubricants in 2 or 3 years. And then after that, who knows? Maybe I'll start selling tires or truck parts or whatever the demand is.
I had a friend. How are tires? Like, have you seen any demand for tires?
Tires is hard because it's so let's just take a step back. Diesel's a critical fluid. You need diesel to run your trucks. You can't extend your use on diesel. Okay. DEF, critical fluid. You have to use it. Trucks won't run without it. Oil, you can kind of push it. You can push an oil change a little further than you should, and you'll get away with it. Tires, you can really stretch it out a little further than you should. That's why you see blowouts. So when you get into a softer freight economy, your tire sales are definitely going to drop off.
Yeah.
So I like to just stay in the critical range of what's needed. We have sold tires before. I wasn't ready to do it, and I didn't have a book of business to do it with. I was cold calling people to sell tires. So I think we'll take a different approach to it this next go around. But and I used kind of tires as just a I guess just like loosely. It may not be tires, just whatever else fleets need, we'll sell it.
Mm-hmm.
This is an old bikini back style truck. This was the first truck I started with. It was a heating oil truck, and we converted it to just sell diesel fuel.
Do you sell heating oil still?
No. When we sold that business, we had to sign a non-compete for 5 years, and frankly, selling to the consumers not a whole lot of fun anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. So talk about your little DEF. Talk about these things.
Yeah. Brand new DEF tote. You can see the hose on the right is a suction tube. So that hose is sucking the product out of the tank. That hose is actually cable reinforced. There's like a metal cable in it, so it doesn't collapse under suction. And then through the other side is your dispense hose to where you can actually put it in. These totes are designed to go to.
Oh, this is like a pump. This is like a pump right here.
Yeah, it's a 115 power pump. You just plug it in and go. Pumps about 8 gallons a minute. And this is designed, or they can just pull up to this and fill their trucks directly. And the reason why everything is top drawn, because on the bottom of this tank, you'll see there's a ball valve. We do not use that ball valve because it's kind of a vulnerability. If we put a pipe out of that ball valve and someone breaks it, then that tank's going to leak. So we top draw everything. It's all contained through the top.
And so because if this breaks, it's not going to spill the entire tank.
Yeah, there's nothing really to break up there.
And so don't you have like remote? Go ahead, Krystian.
When somebody pulls up and you said that you let them basically draw from the tank, like, is this stuff metered and then, or is it just kind of like you let them onto the yard, you give them permission, you know that it's, you know, which truck is going to be taking the fuel. It's all kind of guarded.
Yeah, so it's not metered coming out. These are not designed for resale. These are designed for wholesale. So if you run a 30 truck fleet, we'll give you one of these. We'll charge you $2 per gallon for the product.
You fill it up.
And then you'll fill your fleet with it. Yeah, they're not designed for resale.
Got it.
Dude,
we do have resale designed, but this one's definitely not.
Dom, you're missing out on some business here, man. TJ's trying to get his hands on them. No customer service here, bro. What the heck?
Yeah, I have to tell TJ to pound stand.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what? I guess how is the fuel in the lubricant and business in Jersey pretty like competitive? Like, are there a lot of legacy businesses such as yours like in the market? Like, how does the market look?
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, it's drastically different than today. When I started 10 years ago, it was mostly all legacy businesses. Now there's really only a handful of people that are still legacy businesses. Those are TJ's 24-inch rims. Like, dude, who's riding on 24s still? Like, worse ride quality. You look stupid, TJ. Those may even be bigger than 24 inches.
24.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, what? Like, how's he just gonna slide?
I love how he posts about his kid, and then you just like you just let him rip on it.
Dude, you just don't see rims that big today. Like, who's buying 24-inch rims these days?
What's the context here? Why do you know TJ?
I know. Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
We know TJ.
Yeah, TJ's a friend. I'm just busting his balls. He's a really great guy.
I mean,
dude, TJ has forgotten things I haven't even learned yet. Like, he's really somebody that anyone who's running a fleet can look into.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, he's a unique person.
Yeah,
I guess to say the least.
Has anybody asked him how comfortable the ride is?
Oh, I don't have to ask. I know they're not. I used to have 22s. They're not comfortable.
He just likes uncomfortable rides, I guess.
It's 100% vanity. Like, they looked good in 2016. They don't look good anymore, and they don't drive good. So yeah, dude. So most fuel businesses now, my market have been rolled up into private equity. There's not many still like me that are family operated who are still growing. There's almost no family operated that are still growing. That are just holding on to what they still have. That's unbelievable.
We're witnessing Reed live tweeting.
Also, I told you guys 9:30, but I'm having a good time, so we'll let it ride.
I knew we'd get you for longer. Come on, bro.
I haven't gotten any messages, so I guess no one needs me today.
There you go.
What else? What else is on the outlook? So we got tires. What about aftermarket parts? Aftermarket parts those are the same category really as tires too, right?
They are, but
what about chrome, bro?
I actually think more interestingly, and I learned this week, and I've actually had a perception change on it this week. I was at a conference in Nashville called the Mansfield Delivery One Network Conference, and Mansfield's a national broker. So if you want wet hosing for your entire fleet, like let's say you're UPS, and you want wet hosing for all 1,000 terminals, you'll call Mansfield, and Mansfield will sub that work out to companies like T&R all over the country. We will bill Mansfield. Mansfield bills UPS. They offer all that consolidated invoicing like I was talking about and all that good stuff, right? And one point of credit issuance. I was at the Mansfield conference earlier this week, and what's cool about that is I get to meet companies that are similar to T&R but in different markets. And I met a guy from Oregon, and Oregon, California, and Washington are using a product called Nesty Renewable Diesel. And renewable diesel is a non-petroleum based diesel, which is made with soybean oil, canola oil, and one other, not palm oil. Palm oil is no good, and I'll get back to that. And it looks, you should pull it up, Reed, and go to Google Nesty oil. It's crystal clear. It looks like water. It operates the same way as diesel fuel, which is cool because you don't have to just convert your fleet to electric in order to make ESG folks happy. But in Portland, Oregon, half of the fuel being used is renewable diesel fuel. This R99, they call it. Very interesting product. Burns clean. Less emissions. Obviously, there's no petrochemicals involved in it. It's made with soybean oil, canola oil.
Is it as efficient?
It's as efficient. It burns cleaner. It's actually cleaner than diesel fuel. It's synthetically made, so it's literally perfect. Whereas diesel fuel comes from all different parts of the world, different levels of crude, different mixes. This is 100% synthetic, so it's like the perfect oil.
Same?
Sorry?
And they were able to get the cost to be the same?
So the cost is same today. However, if you told the whole world to start using Nesty oil, there's not enough supply, so the cost could not be the same. But in a controlled environment, the cost is more or less the same.
Wait, is it a company like this?
Yeah.
Or is
Nest's a company. They make product in Singapore, and there's one other facility that they make product in, and then they barge it over. It's not really made in the United States for whatever reason. I don't know.
It's a Finnish company. They
don't use palm oil because palm oil is sort of counterintuitive to the whole ESG movement. Palm oil is created through deforestation, which is obviously counterintuitive. And palm oil has a lot of slave labor and child labor involved with it. So palm oil is
we'll avoid that.
Is no-go. So they don't use that in these products, although it would be even cheaper and more readily available if they did. So they're using canola and soy. I faded this at first. Bud Light asked me for this product. Well, Budweiser, not Bud Light. Budweiser asked me for this product in 2015. And it was just like so nebulous. Like, no, this is not possible. But today we're able to load this product at our ports. This is definitely the next step in power generation. Politicians really like the idea of saying electrify everything, electrify everything, electrify everything. Yeah. And that's partially because it's easy. It goes with little explanation and you can just kind of say that. The reality of it is we are going to go to a renewable kind of middle term between where we are now and electrify everything. And we're able to drastically reduce emissions by going to this renewable product where your trucks can already use it. There's no infrastructure changes needed. I can still provide it the same way I provide it. The cost structure is more or less the same. All the mechanics are still the same. So we're definitely going to go to a renewable sort of midterm between now and electrify everything. That's already happening on the West Coast. The next market that's probably going to happen in is this New Jersey, New York market, because we have density and we have supply and we can have it shipped in. In the middle of the country, this transition will definitely take longer because it's just more expensive to get it there. You can't barge it in by, sent in really, really large amount of gallons. But
is there any reason that this can be produced? Like, let's say the IP, like, I don't know, IP gets licensed or whatever. And like, is there any reason that this can get produced in the US? This is going to be more expensive if they produce it here?
It's a really good question that I don't know. Yeah. But I could imagine you're going to see stuff like that. You're going to get to a point where the largest refiners in the U.S. are going to have no choice. Like ExxonMobil, they're going to have to get involved in this. We'll take it a step further. So these national fleets are going to be using this product. They already are, but they're going to be using this product very soon. And they're going to get to the point where not only are they going to want to be using renewables, they're going to want me using renewables to deliver to them. They're going to want the entire chain to be renewable. And then to take it a step further, there's also renewable motor oils coming into play. So your 15W40, you can also get that in renewable. And by nature, that is a fully synthetic product. And the drain intervals. So in oil, in the motor oil world, we talk about drain intervals, and drain intervals are how often you actually take all the oil out of your truck and refresh it with new oil. Right now, related oils, you can get 30,000 to 50,000 miles out, and you're really pushing an oil change at 50,000 miles. Whereas these fully synthetic, vegetable-based oils, they're claiming you can get 150,000 miles out of an oil change, which is insane. So
150,000 miles
out of an oil change. Now you got to have balls of steel to push it that far, and most people won't. Most people will go. So what you do is you ride it to 80,000, you test it. If it's good, you keep going. You go to 100,000, you test it. If it's good, you keep going. You don't just free ball it to 150,000 because you can have some serious issues.
And on regular diesel right now,
testing.
On regular diesel right now, how often I forgot how often you change. There's like something like every 15,000 miles, I think.
15. So it depends on the oil you use. I like to talk about Shell because Shell has an easy way to explain it. Shell has T6 product, T4 product, and T2 product. T2 product is a fully conventional oil, zero synthetic additive. That you could probably get about 10 to 15,000 miles out of, depending on your usage. Also, you should also consider hours. Like for my fleet, we don't go off miles because we do low mileage, high idle. So we go off of engine hours in my fleet. Then there's your T4, which is what's called a synthetic blend. Synthetic blend is some degree of conventional oil mixed with a synthetic oil. Then you have your T6, which is a fully synthetic oil. Your T4, you could probably get about 25,000 miles out of. Your T6, you can get 35, 40,000 miles out of an oil change. But you're paying, the difference is somewhat relative in price.
So this is, how much is, I just looked up more or less Neste's production. And in 2022, they sold about 3 million metric tons of renewable fuels. Would you have any idea like how many trucks that fills up? Like
That's a good question for Chat GPT.
Yeah.
How many gallons is 3 metric tons? Is that you said?
Yeah. So 3 metric tons of renewable diesel.
3 million metric tons.
3 million metric tons. Yeah. So I'm going to say how many trucks?
How many gallons is 3 million metric tons of liquid?
How many American trucks can you fill up?
Let's see.
So
it's about 790 million gallons.
Yeah, I got about 882, more or less same thing. Okay, so it's about 4 million, roughly around 4 million fill-ups. So that's at least, okay, so there's about 3.5 million trucks in the United States, I think.
I'm unsure.
So, something like that. And so it's like between 3 to 4 million. So basically, that's enough to fill up every single truck in the United States once. That's how much.
Yeah, it's not enough. But they're doing so much in California. Probably almost all of that usage that year was in California, Washington, and Oregon. Is really the only states where it's being used currently.
How many trucks are there?
Quite a bit, I'm sure.
Quite a bit.
I'm toying with eventually we'll probably have to put a tank here of that product and dedicate a couple pumps at the Tulo truck stop to that product.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Talk about like the real estate around here. I mean, this has got to be, in terms of like industrial real estate, like the most valuable or the most high demand real estate, like probably in the country, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a top 3 market, probably in industrial real estate. Where I am on the peninsula of South Kearney is unique in that this area is 100% zoned light and heavy industrial. There's nowhere on this peninsula where you have a 30-year risk of somebody building a somebody building a 300-unit apartment building next to you, which is a huge risk. You're actually coming into one of my properties right now. If you keep pulling down that way, I'm surrounded on 3 sides by rail on this property on the left. One more up. Yeah, this property on the left is mine. We're surrounded by rail on 3 sides. So this property that looks like it's, you know, there's not much doing, there's actually a tremendous amount of demand for, because it's the way the rail surrounds it. But the zoning in South Kearney is very unique in that there's never going to be residential in it. Whereas if you go to Newark, there's low risk that you can have residential next to you, but it's not impossible because there is residential neighborhoods and there's stuff that gets converted in Newark. So yeah, it's valuable. And to make matters even crazier, it's like, it's diminishing. So, you know, truck parking is so scarce, Reed, you know better than anybody, but it's scarce. It becomes even more scarce because now you have all these companies building warehouses, which is displacing truck parking. And a lot of the warehouses being built in my market provide such little truck parking that it's de minimis towards the inventory. So if you have blank land where you can just do truck parking in this market, I mean, you're in good shape.
Yeah, we have a property here.
Yep.
So just around the corner from you guys right here, that's like one of our most successful in the whole country.
I bet.
Yeah, it's right here. I mean, this is a decent chunk of land right here as well.
Yeah, it's pretty big. That goes under the whole. It goes under the Pulaski Skyway, and the reason why realistically that property has no buildings on it is because there's easements of that Route 9 that you see. So that Skyway is in the air. So there's probably easements saying you really can't put building there, and that's why there is no building there. And you know, like counterintuitively enough, that's some of the most valuable land because you can't put a building on it.
Yeah. So
you need somewhere to park this shit. Look at that Scania.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh my god,
here? That guy's lost.
That's an import.
This guy's a little far from where he needs to be.
Yeah, you don't see that. You really don't see that.
You don't see that at all in
no.
Actually, so the only one that I've seen, I've seen it in Chicago before, but there was like the Nikola. I think it was the.
It's Strong Solo Sergey's cousin. He's visiting.
Basically, you really don't see that.
Or that's his other truck. When he goes back to Europe for 6 months out of the year.
So this there's a warehouse. I mean, this is an interesting little building right here. That's
behind us. That's a pick and pack warehouse.
So it basically like goes right up to the bridge.
Yeah. And then they have all that empty land under the bridge. The state probably owns that land directly under.
So who owns? Who's like the biggest?
So like the spot you're showing where you have all that truck parking, realistically, the state owns that land, or at least a portion under the Skyway. So the only thing you can do with it is short-term parking. You can't give somebody a long-term lease because there's always the risk of the state coming in and saying, everybody out. And then if you have performance team who's like, well, I just signed a 10-year lease here, that's just not going to work. So the only really use of that land is short-term truck parking, not even long-term truck parking.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this is in real estate, you talk about like highest and best use, right? Like what's the most optimal facility to put on a piece of real estate. And for most of this, it's probably warehousing, I'm assuming, right? And that's why you see a lot of folks like how much warehousing has been built here in the last, call it, decade.
Almost all of it you see was not there. This land is 15 years ago. They couldn't give it away. No one wanted to do anything down here. All the warehousing is new. There's a new warehouse across the street from me.
Oh, Amazon.
Yeah, that's recent.
Amazon.
That Amazon one is real recent. The one on the bottom. When I started working in Kearney, that was an old defunct BASF chemical plant.
And so, look, I mean, here in Street View, it's under construction. So
what
this
year
was
is it? 2019.
This was 2019.
So it didn't even exist. It was a chemical plant. Real dirty land. So they had to clean that all up before they could put a warehouse on it, which is the case on basically all of this stuff. Link has a warehouse across the street right now. I think it's like 300,000 square feet, and they can't rent it because they just can't get the right pricing right now to fill it. So, you know, warehousing folks are in a somewhat precarious situation right now. They're having, you know, there's definitely softness in the warehouse rental market. If you ask me, too many people bought perfectly fine land to park on and put warehouses on it. Whereas if you ask me, highest and best use is just parking. It is just as it is right now. You have no CapEx. You don't have to build anything. You don't have to maintain anything. Here's your land. You can park on it. I'll see you in 3 years. These are the lowest maintenance tenants you can possibly get. Real estate is not passive money, but industrial truck parking is really as close as you can get.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of demand in the area.
Our property taxes, I don't know if you covered that.
Property taxes are not that high considering you're in New Jersey for the truck parking. There's no buildings on it. So you're in pretty good shape. The only thing you really can't do on that land is stack. They really don't like you stacking containers. I think you can stack 3 tall.
Yeah, let's see what's going on over here at Merce.
Some people like to stack higher. This is Hub. So one more down is Hub Group. This is Performance Team on your right. But if you turn around and go the other way,
down
Hub
here,
Group, yeah.
Oh yeah, those green ones.
Our other truck stop is right there.
Oh, your other truck stop.
Yeah, this is our other truck stop, a truck stop diner.
Is this place? Yeah. Wait, you own this place?
Yeah, we do.
No way.
Is that place any good?
Yeah, I mean, it's not open anymore, unfortunately.
Oh wow!
Ever since COVID, they kind of lost their way. So where you're looking now on your right is all concrete formwork. A company called Doka, when they were building Hudson Yards, used all of this for concrete. Hub Group is now in that yard.
Nice.
And then this is all overnight truck parking.
Reed, you should hit him up.
Reed's got a facility around the corner from here. But we're at 100% occupancy on almost all that.
Oh, here's the truck stop.
Yeah. It's a 7-lane diesel only. There's no gasoline here. Diesel and
diesel. This is the ones, obviously it says mobile, so it's not owned by you, right? Or are you like leasing?
No, we operate that. We're one of our other divisions at T&R is an ExxonMobil wholesaler. So we sell ExxonMobil diesel and gasoline to some sites that we own, some sites we don't own as a wholesaler.
And they require the branding to be present?
Yeah, so we're really just like a glorified franchisor.
Okay. And this is like a separate division, right? Because you're obviously not all your other locations are mobile branded.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a different, same ownership group, but a different company.
You guys used to have, you used to do gas stations, right?
We used to operate gas stations. We're just not good at it. It was, I could never make money doing it. You know, we just have so many divisions and so many distractions. It's really hard to be good at everything. Gas stations retail's a whole different animal, like knowing what merchandise to put out, constantly updating it, pricing. We're just not good at retail management. So we turned away from it, and now commercials really our full focus. That's a CSX rail yard you're looking at.
Yeah.
Not really sure where that rail comes in from, but it's very busy.
I mean, they have a ton of containers here.
Yeah, it's a big rail yard. When my grandfather bought Tulo truck stop in 1972, that rail yard really wasn't there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is there's definitely a lot going on around here, I imagine.
And then if you go across the river on your left to Doremus Avenue, that's like a whole nother, closer to the water on your right, and then go down, you'll see Doremus Avenue, which is a direct road to the port down there. And that's a whole nother like epicenter of super dense like oil terminals. So this is, we load our diesel down here, a lot of chemical facilities. This is a really, really dense trucking area.
Yeah, it looks like it down.
Yeah. It's a dump.
But I mean, what
are you guys' thoughts on like how this kind of stuff is and infrastructure is going to get upgraded, you know, over time? Like, do you guys think it's going to be like piece by piece, or like, I mean, buildings? I thought about the same thing, and when I was in San Francisco, like those houses some of them are like 100 years old. You know,
this
like,
land you're looking at may look shitty, but it's worth $6 or $7 million per acre as is. God, so you have a weird situation where if you're a town mayor, or if you're the mayor of Newark, which is not probably, you know, which is probably the most corrupt job in the country. You're in a precarious situation where you have all this land value, but you have like, it's ugly and the taxes aren't that high. So I think realistically what should happen and what will happen are two different things. I don't know what will happen. What should happen is you should increase the taxes a little bit, and you should basically put in rules of appearance. So like, you should have to have your sidewalks clean. You should have to have the grass cut low. You should have to have like clean fence lines. Like, they should just hold people to a higher standard of imaging and like what everything kind of like cleanliness. I think if you did that, us operators would have no issue with it. In South Kearney, where I am, the rule is you need to be clean in appearance. And it's true. Like, we all do that. South Kearney is nowhere near as dirty looking as Newark. But Krystian, this is highest and best use is exactly what you're looking at. And if you displace this people, where do you expect them to go? Also, what's just kind of messed up in general is ports are partially operated by the municipalities that they're situated in. So you end up with like not really sophisticated enough folks operating things that like drastically affect the world supply chain. So if you make it so one day, like, people can no longer do, you know, industrial truck parking at these facilities, where do you expect them to go? Like, your town's GDP and our state's GDP depends on these ports. You know, Newark, I actually think, don't quote me on this, but I think we're number one port right now. Where do you expect all this to go if you pass legislation to make it look better?
Right.
How many more apartment buildings do you need in Newark? Like, no one wants to live there. You can't live there. It's too contaminated.
And seemingly corrupt. Yeah.
I mean, Senator Menendez, Newark guy, like, I literally think he's on like the gold thing. Like, these people are like categorically bad people who run this city.
I mean, I'm looking at these houses and they look very, well, this one here was nice.
So this is the ironbound section of Newark. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you probably wouldn't have wanted to walk down this road. But you know, it's not bad now. It's definitely improving. Very, very large Portuguese neighborhoods
community
in that area.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on around here. It's
then you have the airport.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's definitely an interesting little.
So I've been in New York for a grand total of 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I drove all the way through. Drove through New Jersey too, and wouldn't say it was like probably my quote unquote. I think it was through Newark that we drove to, but like wasn't exactly like one of my quote unquote favorite places to drive through.
It won't be.
But I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to actually like be able to like see New York. But I don't know. There's mixed opinions about New York too. So
yeah, I mean, look, New Jersey, you get 30 minutes in any direction, and it's beautiful state. It's just where everybody lands and drives through is super industrious. But no, you get out to Western New Jersey, South Jersey, it's gorgeous.
All right. So you're at noon driving out to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
Where
I'm
are you
going to Maniloking at noon, and it's
Where's that?
It's gorgeous. It's a little more north than where you're at. It's north of Tom's. It's about by a little bit north of Tom's River, but all the way on the water. Yeah, this Barrier Island right out here. Yeah, like drop us in there. Like it's if you get an ocean view, it's gorgeous. And this is after Sandy, so it's still a little dilapidated in 2014. Sandy wiped a lot of this out.
It was 2022. Yeah.
I mean, these are all beachfront houses, and this is only 50 minutes from where I work.
Nice.
So we do have nice areas.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
A lot of construction after Sandy.
Wow, these are pretty.
That house on the right, actually, I think that's what's his name's big New Jersey singer, Bon Jovi's house.
Really?
Yeah, I think that is.
I
can't really see it anymore. He has so much forestation from it.
Kind of looks a little bit European, to be honest, like European style.
Yeah.
You got those tiles.
Yeah. Nice house.
Nice house for sure.
A house like that on the water, you're talking like $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 50 minutes from New York City.
Where so this whole like where was Jersey Shore? Right here, right?
Seaside Park. Yeah, Seaside Heights. Yeah.
So where's Karma?
I don't even know if it exists anymore.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yeah, that area is cleaned up a lot. It's not as bad. It's not as like crappy as it was when that TV show was out.
Yeah, man, this looks pretty good. Are you going to be out here fishing in a couple hours or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. What else, bros?
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to bounce, but this was great chatting. Dom, thanks so much for coming on. Honestly, I thought that thing that I took away from, or one of the biggest things that I learned today was that there is a really pretty cool renewable diesel source, which has a shit ton of benefits to it. So I'm actually going to be doing some more digging into it. I'll ping you and ask you for some other questions to discover what you kind of learned about it. But you don't happen to know anybody there, do you? Like at the company?
I don't.
If you ever do, let me know. I would love to talk to somebody there.
Sounds good, man.
Anyway, any final closing thoughts, Reed?
It looks like the traffic is pretty good for you heading down to the shore. So
yeah,
hopefully you should be able to breeze down there. Doesn't look like anyone's really working today out there.
No, nothing doing today.
Yeah.
So, all right, bros.
All right,
guys.
Thanks so much. See
you
guys next week.